Madame la Chancelière, j'ai l'honneur de vous présenter Madame Tulsi Nowlakha Mirchandaney pour son apport visionnaire et son leadership dans l'industrie aéronautique. Tulsi Nowlakha Mirchandaney has devoted more than 5 decades to India's aviation industry, shaping one of the world's largest domestic markets. Born in Shillong in Northeast India, she later earned her MBA in aviation from Concordia University. She went on to lead Blue Dart Aviation, India's first scheduled domestic cargo airline, as its managing director. In this role, she oversaw every dimension of operations, flight and ground services, safety and security, maintenance and policy. Her leadership helped secure the sustainability of India's cargo airline industry and strengthen supply chains that link her country to the world. In a field long dominated by men, Tulsi Mirchandaney set new standards of excellence. She became a pioneer and role model, known for her steady, results-focused leadership. Her achievements have been recognized with many honors, including the Lifetime Achievement Award for Iconic Women in Aviation, presented in 2024 by India's Ministry of Civil Aviation and the Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry. She has also remained closely connected to Concordia University, establishing an endowment and bursary in her name to support future generations of students. Tulsi Mirchandaney exemplifies visionary leadership through transformative contributions to aviation and an enduring commitment to education. Madame la Chancelière, au nom du Sénat et du Conseil d'administration de l'Université, j'ai le privilège et l'honneur de vous présenter Madame Tulsi Nowlakha Mirchandaney afin que vous lui décerniez un doctorat en droit honoris causa.
Now, ask Dr. Tulsi Mirchandaney to present her convocation address.
Chancellor, Madam Cody, President and Vice Chancellor Dr. Carr, distinguished guests on the dais, proud families and friends, and most of all, the graduating students of 2025. This is your day, a testimony of your perseverance, your diligence, and exceptional capability. And I'm so honored and privileged to be sharing this day with you. Congratulations. As you go ahead, it will be exciting, but it will also challenge every belief and value that you hold dear. I remember when I was first inducted into my first job more than 5 decades ago. I was cautioned, if you want a job in aviation, then you need a strong stomach and a thick skin, I was told. We defy gravity daily, turbulence is normal, and you'll often find yourself flying by the seat of your pants. What I was not told was that you also need to fervently believe in the power of prayer. Because there's regulation, unpredictable, often incomprehensible, and invariably with retrospective effect that can knock you out of the sky. And then, of course, there are tariffs. So I'm guessing that regardless of which industry you choose to associate yourself with, it's not going to be very different for you. And so I thought I would share with you some lessons from aviation that I learned over the years. The importance of a safety oversight, people, and purpose. When the margins of error are so thin to be almost negligible, because you're dealing with people's lives, including your own, then redundancies need to be built in as your safety net. We are human, we are not infallible, and there are times when we will fail. Our organization launched our airline operations with a humble fleet of 2 vintage Boeing 737-200s. In our first year of operation, one of our aircraft was grounded because of a major incident. That's 50% of our fleet not available, our operations impacted, and every aviation expert in the country had written us off. But our engineering team, with their capability, their professional capability, and their conviction in the machine, restored the aircraft back into operations 3 months later. And it continued to fly till it was phased out at the end of its economic life more than 10 decades later. A fighter and a survivor can weather storms, but it also needs a daily dose of discipline to build in that safety net, plan B and C. And that level of excellence is a lifelong quest. Secondly, human accomplishment is never achieved in isolation. It is the collaboration of cohesive people of diverse capabilities and minds towards a unified goal. I realized that when our people brave gale force winds to be out in the tarmac during a cyclone and to have our aircraft lift off as soon as the event is finished, it's not because they have to be there. It's because they believe they have a stake in a company that they love, in a company that they are proud of, and that they love what they do. And it is our job to make them successful, because in their success lies ours. People make the impossible possible. Ownership, belonging are not taught in schools. They are part of a culture that is cultivated. And finally, I've always been proud of our organization's role in contributing to the Indian economy. But never was the purpose of what we do more clearly defined than during the COVID years. We were called to aid the national mission with international logistics. Now, we are a domestic scheduled freighter operator with no prior international experience. But all our people came forward, our pilots, our engineers, ground operations, ground support systems. And in 3 weeks' time, after working in the hangar in the blazing heat, modifying our aircraft for the international flights, we operated our first charters, which went on for the next 2 years in addition to our domestic operations. Of course, there was fear, and of course, there was uncertainty. But I have seen time and time again, when people see a purpose that is larger than themselves, in this case, saving the lives of our countrymen by bringing in emergency supplies and relief materials, then the drive is unstoppable. It delves into them to find what I have learned in school from the works of George Bernard Shaw, what he called the life force, the ability to transcend into a higher form of life. And as you go forward, my hope for you is that you will build stronger wings, that you will have a safety net to be able to navigate every turbulence that you may face in your future life. In your leadership position, and you belong to the top 3% with your education, your knowledge, your values from an exceptional institution, that you will influence change and try and bridge the disparities that we see in the world today. As the father of my nation once said, be the change that you want to see. And finally, my hope for you is that you find your personal life force and that you make your most meaningful dreams come true, however impossible they may seem. So good luck, and as we say, blue skies and safe landings. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mirchandani, for your inspiring message of discipline, perseverance, and teamwork to make impossible possible. Thank you again.